Hey A-Team, here's a video to give you a little hint of what we're going to be talking about in the August 16th meeting, which again is here at the church from 9 o'clock to about 12 o'clock, and then we're going to go out to eat afterwards to just have time and spend some time together. Have a good time and spend some time together. But at the meeting, I wanted to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about because it will be a pretty full meeting, and we do have a lot to talk about as we not only look forward to this next school year, but also the years after that. We're going to spend a lot of time in discussion over the next, let's see, over 4 things that I have on this board that I'll walk you through. Please do your best to take notes, think of ideas, write them down so that when we can come toward the meeting in a couple of weeks, we can all be ready with ideas already thought of and ideas already written down so it can be as quick and efficient and as fruitful as possible. But let me walk you through a couple of things that we're going to be looking at in the August 16th meeting. The first one is, these are all questions that will hopefully lead us down a path so that we can start to figure out what we want this ministry to look like. And so the first one begins with, what do you want students to know or experience? This is a basic building block question. Throughout their student ministry life, if they stay in from 6th grade to 12th grade, what are the things that you want them to know? This could be Bible stories. What Bible stories do you want them to know? What sort of things do you want them to experience? Things like mission trips, things like accountability groups or small groups or worship or whatever it is. What things do you want them to experience once they leave here? And then hopefully once we get those building blocks together, we'll be able to come up with some sort of mission statement. Now for the mission statement, this is what is our goal as the student ministry? Some easy ones just to think of. Loving God and loving people. When that's our mission statement, then we as a youth group promise together to love God and to love people. And so think about that. It can be in those simple terms. It can be a little longer, but with the mission statement, it needs to be short enough so that people can remember it because the mission statement is something that we want them to know and something that when they think of our youth ministry, they think of this mission statement. The next one I want you to think about, and this one might take a little bit more time and a little bit more thought. What are the stages for our student ministry? We have our overall student ministry under this umbrella, and under this umbrella, what are the different programs that we want to do, and more specifically, where do they fit? So we're not necessarily looking for specific types of programs right now, but rather generally speaking, what is the path of discipleship that we want to take them on? And so I have some examples for you, and these are all going to be paths of discipleship where they enter the student ministry at one point, and then we want them to leave knowing this point right here. An easy way to think about it is John Wesley's view of grace. And to just talk about that real quick, if you're not familiar with it, as United Methodists, we believe in 3 stages of grace here on earth. The first one is prevenient grace, that God moves in our lives before we even know who God is. So this is uniquely pre-Christian. And so for this, what are the programs that we do that are pre-Christian that we want people to come and experience? And again, this is not necessarily program-driven, but rather thought-driven and discipleship-driven. And under that, I'll talk about that later, but justifying grace. After prevenient grace comes justifying grace, and that's that kind of conversion experience where people come to know Christ for the first time and begin a relationship with Him, confess Him as their Lord and Savior, and dedicate their lives to Jesus and living for Jesus. And the last one is sanctifying grace, and this is the process of perfection where they go from knowing Jesus into becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ and a follower of Jesus Christ, where they're perfected in their love and in their grace and in who they are by Jesus Christ. And so we have those 3 levels, and that kind of gives an example of what a process of discipleship looks like. Some ways that I've seen some youth ministries and other churches describe it as the different ministries of their church with regard to discipleship are broken down into know ministries, grow ministries, and go ministries. This kind of emphasizes for the no ministries, these are the things that are dedicated to getting people, whether they're not Christians or maybe even just beginning the student ministry program, to know about Jesus, to know about God. What are those essential things so that they can kind of experience who God is and what the church is and everything like that. The grow phase is where they kind of become a Christian and then begin to grow in their relationship with God, where they're reading the Bible and coming to church and worshiping and things like that. And then finally, go is where the go ministries are, where they're sent out and serving other people, serving God, getting out there and living out the gospel and living out the greatest commandment, the great commandment. A way that I've done it in the past is broken it up into experience, ignite, and excite. The experience ministries are the same sort of thing, to where we want the kids to experience God, experience church, experience love, things like that. The next one is igniting their relationship with Jesus, where they begin a relationship with Jesus for the first time. And finally, excite their passion for serving. And that's where they obviously want to serve in that regard. And so we'll take these stages of our student ministry program and break them down so that all of our ministries, all of our programs that we do will fit into each one of these ministries. For example, in this last stage, sanctifying, go, and excite, whatever you want to call it, will be things like mission trips and things of that nature. Tuesday Jumpstart will be in these early stages where we want to introduce people to the student ministry and also introduce people to God and the church and things like that. And then the Grow Ministries, things like our youth group and different things like that. Fall Retreat would probably fit in there. And so what we want to do is think of these different stages so that all the ministries that we do, and we're also going to do this at the meeting, we're going to think of these stages of ministry, and then we're going to put all of our programs in here. And from that, once we get all that figured out, everything that we do as a student ministry will fit into one of these. And it might be a little bit messy, but we're going to do the best we can with it. But once we have these three things, the last thing that I want you to think about is, where do you as an individual want to serve? Do you want to mainly be a part of the early stages? Do you want to be a part of the growing stages where we're helping the kids grow in their relationship with Jesus? Or do you want to be mainly involved with the stage where we send them in mission trips and things like that? These will all be geared around your strengths and your passions. And what you'll do is, all the ministries that are involved with each stage, say for example you want to be part of this beginning stages where people are being introduced to the church and to God and even to our student ministry. You'll be in charge of programming and thinking of ideas and executing all the programs that are a part of this. And so your main area of expertise will be in here, and your main area of serving will be in here. And I'm going to ask all of the A-team members, if they want to be an A-team member, all of the A-team members to choose an area of ministry that they can be a part of and to focus on that area. And that's where their main area will be. Of course, it's always going to include, the A-team. Especially right now, all of you are still small group leaders, and that certainly won't change. But to give all of you more of a voice in the student ministry, and also, I want all of you to become a part of the vision, so that our vision and our mission extends beyond me and extends beyond you, so that this can be used for years and years and years, so that whoever comes and becomes a part of our student ministry or an A-team knows exactly what they're getting into and knows the vision of the student ministry, so that they can just kind of pick up things and run, so that we don't have to start from square one over and over again. So think about these things. I appreciate you listening to the video, and I hope that you're able to write down ideas and think of ideas and come prepared to the meeting on August 16th, knowing what you want to talk about, so that we can kind of get together and put together these ideas, struggle through stuff. I will certainly be challenging us in our views and what we think about all this, so that we can come with a unified process of discipleship, so that we can know where we want our students to go where they when they enter the student ministry, and where do we want them to be when they leave the student ministry in college, so that we can propel them into their life, so that they continue to grow in their relationship with Jesus. I'm excited about the meeting. It will be a very involved meeting, and a lot of opinions and thoughts and views, and I'm very excited about all that, and we're going to put them all together and come up with a process of ministry that will allow God to work most effectively in the lives of these students. And we simply want to be a part of the great things that God is already doing in the student ministry and in the lives of those students. And it truly is an honor for me to partner with you in that, as we all move forward in our ministry to these students. Thanks.